Have a day, I'm Luella Lucino from the Pacific News Center, and you're watching Coffee with the Candidates. I am with Senator Telo Taitague, the legislature's current minority leader who is running for a spot in the primary elections. Senator Telo, so how are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. Thank you so much, Luella. And by the way, I just love your name, Luella. So I'm doing good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have several questions for you.
Sure.
And you are a veteran, considered a veteran at the legislature. So my first question would be, if you were elected for the next cycle, what would be your first legislative initiative?
Well, thank you for that question. And first, I'd like to thank the Sorensen media family for allowing me to be here today. When I first started in the 35th Guam legislature, one of the bills that I introduced was building a new hospital, and that was Bill 5. So, and this bill actually formulated a task force. It took a while to get it to go through and pass, but it finally did, and it creates a task force to look at how are we going to build a new hospital, how are we going to sustain it, things like that. So, we're going toward the end of this term, and we haven't even touched base. The committee has not even come together to meet. So I'm an individual that always follows through. You don't just throw something out there and then drop the ball. You just keep going until it finally reaches end results. So I want to continue my efforts toward that. Of course, and other things that I've introduced to, like public safety. In fact, right here in Tumon, we have cameras that have been installed, and I found some funding at the beginning of this term to provide for more cameras and to fix some that are broken. And in Tumon, there's some blind spots that need to be, to put cameras in those areas for safety reasons, as well as other places like Seti Bay and things like that. So I've been working with GPA as well to find because they have areas in the south that they want to protect, and they're planning to do that with cameras. So there's a lot of things that I need to follow through with, and I'm willing to go that extra mile and run one more time to ensure this happens.
I see. So aside from your legislative plans in the next cycle,
right.
Are there any other reasons why you're running for office again?
Well, I think that if I want to ensure that there's continued, movement toward being transparent and accountable. Who am I going to rely on to do that? And when I thought about if I'm going to run for re-election or not, if I'm going to run another term, I just thought to myself, well, I don't know who's going to do that, and who I can trust to ensure, the future of our island is in someone who's going to fight for those perspectives. And that's why I decided I think I could do one more term and fight for that. And I still have a lot of fight in me.
That's good. And speaking of transparency, what's your stance on transparency and accountability in Guam?
Oh, absolutely. It's paramount. It's so important. In fact, I introduced legislation to provide the administration to give us, reports on financial reports. The budget bill is coming up, as we all know, right? And it's no secret that we're going to have to make some cuts here. And with those cuts, we need the information and data to make sure we provide for a realistic projections coming up, and what money that we have in the government of Guam. And right now, we don't know what that is, because we're not given that information and data, especially on a timely manner. It's not until we scream and shout and yell, or the media actually, which has been very helpful, to push the issues, that we finally get some kind of information and reports to us. But there needs to be more accountability and transparency, and I think that's one area that I'm not going to give up on. And I've pushed for it, and I will continue to push for it.
And how would you rate the current government in terms of transparency and accountability?
On a scale of what?
1 to 10?
To 10?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
How about 5?
5.
which is not good enough for you and I or the people of Guam. 5 is not good enough. It should be 100%.
How would you? Why did you rate the government, the current administration, of 5 in terms of accountability? Any particular reason?
Well, absolutely. The reports are not coming in on time. We're not, for instance, an audit that was supposed to be generated, and we're finding out some agencies are not providing the information in an efficient time, and that could easily be pushed by the administration. We're still not getting our questions answered during Committee of the Whole. And where is the funding that you use to pay for war claims? Where is the funding that was reimbursed from the war claims? Where is that money going to reimburse something that you took from another pocket? They're not giving that information to us. There's other spending that's very questionable. You know, how are they able to make those payments? And I think that our tax refunds are still need to be paid up front, you know, right away. We don't need to wait for 6 months after April 15th to get them paid. We should do it right now. The people are hurting. People of Guam are hurting now, especially in this pandemic.
You mentioned, of course, we are now, this is budget season, right?
Yeah.
And any particular government agency that you think, you know, that has fat to trim? Any particular agency, and what reforms do you think should be implemented by that agency?
So the question you asked about a particular agency?
Yeah, any particular government agency that you think should be very mindful of their budgeting. I mean,
very conscious?
Yeah.
Well, I do know that we can consolidate some agencies. You know, when Governor Calvo was a governor, he had merged certain agencies for cost-efficient reasons, and it was very helpful. But we see this administration separating it. And now you're going to have money to pay for the infrastructure or the utilities or the office space for this agency, and that when they can merge together and consolidate. So there are few agencies, not just one particular, but few agencies that can merge together to save the government of Guam money.
That's good. And we are now, I guess we are going through sort of an economic crisis with the COVID-19 pandemic. So how would you have handled it if you were given what kind of initiatives would you like to implement just to assist the economy go through the pandemic?
Well, first and foremost, I think that it was important to test everyone right away. You know, whether you're having any symptoms or anything like that, we need to find out where we are today with COVID and how many real individuals are out there, transmitting this disease, this virus to each other. And we're only going to do that if we can test everyone. So I think at the very beginning, this $117 million of CARES Act that was given to the government of Guam should be solely on providing more testing in every area that you can. So I think that the shutting down of the economy, shutting down was inevitable. I mean, it's not just on Guam, but it's happening in the countries that are surrounding us, especially in our tourism industry. But this gives us an opportunity, though, for those who are, now that we are basically shut down on this economic engine, that we can look to maybe providing training, Guam Contractors Association, Trades Academy, to teach those who are in the service industry a new trade, and not be so, reliant upon tourism. But it does give us an opportunity to train individuals in other fields other than tourism. So I think, I think some of that CARES Act money could have gone to the Trades Academy, to GCC, and to look at helping train individuals for sustainable jobs in this time of crisis.
And for the fun question?
Oh, I get one?
You have a fun question. Can you name one senator that has inspired you? I mean, yeah.
Wow. It's going to be,
yeah.
it's kind of difficult. Can I take one from both parties?
Yeah.
I'm inspired actually on both sides of the aisle. I don't want to have to really leave out one because Well, I think on the Democrat side, if there's anybody who've inspired me, and I had the great opportunity to work with, was Senator Ben Pangilinan. He was amazing. You know, he taught me a lot, and I served in the 30th Guam legislature with him and had that opportunity. He inspired me very much. I think on the Republican side, I think Tony Mpinko. You know, he taught me what grassroots was really about the Republican Party, how it was a true people's party, that they were there to give, you know, a hand up and not a handout. We taught individuals, he showed me how we teach individuals to fish. Instead of giving them the fish, we teach them how to fish to be sustainable. So I think those two individuals inspired me and continue. And, you know, God rest their souls, they passed on, but their memory and my movement going forward is a reflection of them.
Thank you, Senator. And that's it for us for Coffee with the Candidates. Stay tuned for more.
And thank you.